I smile when I think about Jonas because he is unlike any other person I've met. He's so young and he's been through so much. And he just has a strength like nobody else I've ever met. And so even when it comes to baseball or just fitness, something that he's passionate about, he'll work towards it. I mean, he goes to the gym more times in one day than I can count. And I'm on the couch watching TV, and I'm like, where are you going? He's like, the gym. And I'm like, where are you going? The batting cages. Where are you going? Practice, lessons. So he puts all of his hard work and effort into something that he's passionate about. And he treats the ones around him, the people in his life, with kindness and compassion. And so I think he's just a really great role model. He's, I think, the center of attention for his friends, which is something that I think puts a smile on all of our faces in my family. Because we'll just be talking about Jonas, and he's always with friends, or he's the life of the party. He puts smiles on people's faces. And so it's just, I'm really blessed he's in my life and that he's my little brother. I know that he's capable of so much, and I want to help him however I can. And so, yeah, that's why Jonas puts a smile on my face.
Tell me about your bracelet there.
This one, my black one, would be What Would Jesus Do? I believe a lot about just everything. I kind of go to church. I worship a lot. It's great having the feeling of just he does everything. He knows your every move. He knows what's going to happen 15, 20 minutes from now. It's just everything. I feel his presence. It's awesome. And then this one would be in memory of my dad. We got these at the visitation service, and I love it because I mean a lot of people, everywhere I go I see the bracelet, and you don't really even have to. A lot of people's letters are washed away, but they still have the bracelet, and everyone knows since of the color. Everybody knows like that's his bracelet, and it's awesome because all my friends wear it. And when we go out, we take a group picture. You can always see in our wrist. We all got the same bracelet. It's awesome.
How do you want to make your dad proud?
He really wanted me to play big college ball. He wanted to see me in a big stadium, and it's just I was really iffy about going to college, but I always told him, of course I'll go to college for baseball. I'll go to college for baseball. And I want to be somewhere on that field, like, hey, I made it. Look at this. Watch this. Just everything. I just want to be. I want to take after everything he did outside, from the works to his friends. I just want to fill in that spot that his friends are missing. I feel like I have a big part of him, so I still act kind of the same way. I still make all the funny jokes, and I can see myself making jokes like that into day-to-day basis that he would make. It's like, that's funny.
And then Jonas, what does your sister mean to you?
She's just my big sis. She's my role model right now. Just the way she goes about her education. She gets all her work done first, and then I don't know if I'll have time to go hang out with you today. I have to take care of my responsibilities first. It's just I want to be more like that and get what's done first.
What are the qualities that you've witnessed her do, not just say? You just shared a little bit about that, but just like how does she let her actions speak louder than her words? Because she's a very eloquent person, but what actions have you seen her prove those with?
Definitely just stepping up, doing everything that's needed to be taken care of without anyone having to ask her what to do. She doesn't need it. You don't need to ask her to do anything. She'll do it, and then you'll ask her about it from a week. Oh, I took care of it last week. It's just everything that you need as a guardian, almost. it's already taken care of.
You're both exceptionally polite and kind people. Where does that come from? And professional, where does that come from?
I think it definitely comes from both of our parents. Growing up, I think my mom was more the cool parent and my dad was more of the strict, I would say. Um, and so I think whenever you're younger, you see your parents in a different light. And I mean, I think after everything that's happened, we really started growing closer as time went on. And then I realized my parents were actually cool and funny and like the life of the party. And so, but yet, like at home, they were all of these things to us, but in public, they carried themselves very highly. I mean, my dad always told us chin up, shoulders back, just be a leader. And then one of my mom's favorite mantras was, you can be beautiful on the outside, but it doesn't mean anything unless you're a beautiful person on the inside too. And so that's something that my dad really, I think, emphasized every day. So yeah, I think a lot of our good qualities are everything comes from them.
Yeah, Jonas, what makes you want to be a respectful person? I mean, I've worked with thousands of kids before in my career, and it's really rare to see somebody with as much. It's not just professionalism, because you can tell the people who are being fake, you know? I can tell with you it's a genuine kindness and professionalism. Why do you choose to be that way, Jonas?
Just kind of treat others how you want to be treated. Um, there's no need to be rude and disrespectful to someone that loves you, that's there for you, that will take a bullet for you. So I feel like you should be the same way and be respectful. And if two people are being respectful to each other, then the relationship should go a long way.
How have you seen him step up in the face of tragedy in your family life?
Yeah, I've seen him step up in many more ways than I thought possible. You know, I mean, just a few years ago, I was his age and I was going through, I guess, similar struggles, but nothing of the magnitude that we're in now. So I've really seen him step up by like just helping with things around the house. He never complains. He always does what he's supposed to. Like I said earlier, he puts all of his effort into something. So whenever I ask him to cut the grass, he sits on the lawnmower for hours in the sun and he gets it done. And I mean, same thing with everything else. He'll make sure that everything's taken care of. He'll cook me dinner sometimes. He goes out of his way to, yeah, show me that he's here, he's taking responsibility, and that he's trying to do his job and execute his responsibilities.
How has he shown humility instead of what most people would do, which is like arrogance, I guess?
I don't think that he throws anything back in your face. I think if you're there to help him or if he helps you, he never reminds you that he helped you out when you were in need. I mean, I was talking to my neighbor the other day, and it was on 4th of July because I was telling her that like Jonas's plans and everything, and that he would be responsible after and clean up his fireworks, and he did. But I was talking to her, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I forgot about this thing that you asked me about a few months ago." And she's like, "Oh, no worries," because we have a trailer, and so she asked me if we could borrow the trailer. But I was in Austin, and I was really busy, and so I forgot to respond to the text, unfortunately. And I had asked her, is there anything that we can do? I'm sorry, I forgot about this. And she told me, don't worry, like Jonas helped me out with it. I called him and asked if he could help me load a lawnmower into my car, and he got the truck and he picked me up, and we went like to the other end of the neighborhood, and he helped me load it in the car and bring it back home. And that's just something that I had never heard Jonas tell me, and something that I wouldn't have known about if she didn't tell me that day just a few days ago. So I don't think that he's ever I don't think he puts himself too far above others to where he can't ever help. I think he's always willing to lend a hand, and he's always telling me he's going to this place or that to help out a friend or get them out of the mud or to just anything really.
So let's talk about you as a baseball player. So do you feel like you're going to be playing pitcher or outfielder in college? Or both?
I think I'm starting to realize I kind of want to go pitching because As being like a two-way player, the outfield and hitting, I got to focus on like the big arm coming up from the field, and then raking from the other side of the plate, and it's two things to worry about. And then I've struggled a little hitting, so it's like, oh, I get in my head a lot about that. And then pitching, I feel like I'm starting to dial in this summer. I feel good pitching. I feel confident on the mound. So I really feel like that could go future wise, especially if my coach tells me like I see a future in you pitching. So I'm like, okay, okay, coach, I believe you. You see me every day play. So
That's awesome. Okay, so let's focus in on pitching. What does a college coach need to know about your pitching skills? Like, who are you as a pitcher in a nutshell? What are they going to see in your game tape?
I
Here's a good way of phrasing it. What do you try to do when you're attacking a lineup, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are the Greg Maddux type who are trying to just outmaneuver the other batter. There are people like Aroldis Chapman who are just trying to blow it past the hitter. How do you attack a lineup baseball wise? Like, how are you different from other pitchers?
Usually I go straight at them. I try to get the first strike, get ahead in the count. I don't try to fall behind. I get a lot of ground balls off me, just shortstop, third base. So I mean, I don't try to. I mean, striking them out is a bonus. It's fun, but usually I kind of just let my defense work and let them play ball too.
What kind of pitches? What's your pitch arsenal? What are they going to see in your game tape?
I have a fastball. I have a pretty good slider, and then I have a two seam, and I'm working on the changeup.
And how do you kind of set up those different pitches? Like, what do you have a specific order? Like, what's your strategy of how to mix in which pitches?
Usually, if they just watch the first strike come straight through, I'm like, okay, they're either watching it or they're not ready. They weren't ready for that pitch. So I kind of just don't. I don't show them my whole arsenal right off the bat in three pitches. I kind of see what they do. If they foul the first pitch off, if he fouls it off, I'll usually come back with maybe an inside fastball or a slider, throw them off a little bit. If they foul off the slider, maybe I'll throw them another one so they don't expect it. Usually I'll come set sometimes, and maybe in like an 0-2 count, or no, yeah, an 0-2 count. They think I'm throwing a curveball because just something a pitch to waste, but I'll kind of just move my glove and I'll just throw a fastball right down the middle. I try to just throw them off. I try to get in their head. I sometimes look at them to make weird eye contact.
Yeah, tell me about that. I mean, how much of you're a smart young man. How do you try to use your smarts to your advantage on the field?
I kind of put myself in the position if they were in, and I would like if I was a hitter, I'm like, okay, this is a 1-1 count. I'm expecting a fastball right down the middle. I throw something else, and it just throws them off. And if I throw a pitch outside and he kind of fouls it off straight back, I'm like, okay, he's on time. He just got a little under it. He got a little over it. So I gotta throw something different.
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be fighting for these spots. Say you're trying to get on at DBU or TCU or Baylor. There's going to be a lot of people that have your same kind of height, weight, pitch, profile. So we're really looking for the differentiators for you that are bigger than baseball. What's your message to a college coach about, if they got 100 resumes that have similar height, weight, velo, spin rate, why should they pick you? Like, what would be your short message to why they should trust you with that precious spot?
I think I'll work as hard as you need me to get to the point I'm highly expected to at like a D1 level. If I don't have a good outing, I'll wait, or after the game I'll work on what I did wrong and try to come back the next game and dial in on what I didn't do well. I always try to do something that is like, oh my gosh, how do you do that? Or something, just the effort on the mound. Pitchers are athletes too. I don't want to just kind of sit there and watch a fly ball go over me. I'll lay out. But I just feel like
Awesome. And then, a big differentiator is like coaches want to know that you're a person of character, not just because it sounds nice, but because they don't want to have to babysit the bad kids, and like it's about making sure that you're not making their life more difficult. So what would be your message to them as far as like, if you've got a 6 a.m. bus and you know that there's going to be kids that are going to be late, just what's your message to them about how much they can trust you to not do bad things and go out late partying the night before and stuff like that? Just what's your message to them about what they can trust with your character?
I feel like I'm really on top of that. If I have an 8 a.m. game tomorrow, my dad always taught me to be in bed way before anytime. Put your phone away. Like, hey, dude, I'll make you a good breakfast in the morning. Let's go. Like, so I feel like I've learned a lot from that. And it's just if I have a 10 a.m. game, I can go to sleep a little later, but not too much later. And then in the morning, you got to drive there, focus, maybe get an energy drink. You just got to take care of your responsibilities to know what makes you perform at the top of your game.